All right, everyone. Welcome to the competition timeout. It's been a while and been as consistent, and I am sorry to the people who usually listen, but I am here today, and let's just do a little catch up today. We are 9 games into the NFL season, and go a little update, see how everything's going, um, and how everything's not going for some teams. So right now, if the season ended today, obviously in the AFC, as we know, the number one seed would be the Kansas City Chiefs. Buffalo Bills are in second, and third are the Steelers, and then the Texans. Those are your division leaders at the moment. Five, six, and seven is Baltimore, the Chargers, and the Broncos. So yep, that is how we stand right now. So let's break down a little bit of the AFC before we go to the NFC. So in the AFC, the Chiefs are 9-0, but it hasn't been a pretty 9-0. Obviously, they have been carried to some degree by the defense. Patrick Mahomes is not having that great of a season statistically. 12 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. The offense looks um, constipated. Their leading receiver is Travis Kelsey, as usual, for the most part. But the funny part about that, if you look at the stats, the second leading receiver on this team is Rashee Rice, who only played, I believe, 3 games before getting hurt. I believe that's, well, four. No, three, three, three. 3 games before getting hurt. So that is a little alarming. They haven't found another weapon there. Um, but we'll see how long that carries. You can never count them out because they are the two-time defending champs, and they are 9-0. And, they have probably the best coach and quarterback duo in the league right now. So, but they haven't looked great compared to the record, honestly. The Bills, the Bills have obviously they're 8-2. They've looked good. Uh they their only losses are to the Texans and the Ravens, two pretty good teams. They do play the Chiefs this week. That's going to be a fun matchup. Then the 49ers. So we'll see how that comes up. The Chiefs one's probably more important. It's in the same conference. We'll see if Amari Cooper plays. They got Amari Cooper a few weeks ago in the trade deadline, which is a good addition to an offense that was already doing okay with, Shakir and Mac Hollins and just a number of regular receivers for Josh to just kind of spread the ball. But they've been doing well, and defense is pretty good, and they've been playing pretty well. A little running pass balance is pretty good, and I think they're going to be in it because they have Josh. Josh has been playing pretty good. As of right now, Josh is 17 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I believe those interceptions came recently. So he went a while without some interceptions. But yeah, excuse me. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 7-2. I think the Steelers are always going to be a team that's going to be in it because of Tomlin as a coach, the type of organization that they are. It looks like they found all that rest. The first couple games was done rest some good because the offenses looked a little better with him there. But I will say this: they do play in a very tough division, a division that I thought was going to beat each other up. And guess what? Up to this point, it's been 9 weeks. We're going into week 10, well, week 11 because they had a bye. And they haven't played anybody in division. The first division game is this weekend, and it's against the Ravens. And they have to play the Ravens, who are right on their tail at 7-3. And they go Ravens, Browns, Bengals, Browns. And this is a, a string of division games because they haven't had any. so far this season. So we'll see how they come out of that. Because as I will talk in a few minutes, Cincinnati looks like they're they're still in it. A couple wins from being in it. Um, Baltimore has looked, even though they're 7-3, they've looked the best out of all the teams we talked about, honestly. But they're 7-3 because the Pittsburgh Steelers are only 7-2. So, but yeah, we'll see. This will tell a lot about the Steelers and the stretch run that they're going to be on in a little bit, in the next couple of weeks. So uh, fourth division leader in the AFC is the Houston Texans. I think they'll win that. They've had some injuries on offense, especially at receiver. They are getting Nico Collins back. He should be back next week. They are 6-4. Some tough losses there in their schedule. I think, you know, if you really look at it, the worst loss was the Jets. The way the Jets are looking, but it, I think Houston will be fine, especially if they started getting healthy at the right time. The Ravens, like I said, 7-3, probably the best team uh, on the season. Well, them and then a team in the NFC that we'll talk about soon. Probably the two best teams, honestly. Lamar's having a great season so far. He's got 24 touchdowns, two interceptions. He's only got sacked 13 times. Uh, Derrick Henry's already at 1,000 yards. Uh, I mean, the defense is always going to be there. Are they as I don't know? Are they as locked down as they were before? No, but they get the job done. And they'll probably get better as it keeps going in the season. That's just the Ravens way. But we'll see. They got the Steelers, they have the Eagles, some good matchups coming up. We'll see um how that turns out. Um the Los Angeles Chargers are 6-3 there, and good job by John Harbaugh so far because especially on offense, this is I mean, Lad McConkey is the lead receiver and he is a rookie. Justin Herbert has to know a little more with his legs because he has to. They started the season, the first couple games, just primarily a run team, and they switched it up, and now they're passing. Getting Quentin Johnston a little involved, the guy they drafted last year. And, you know, we'll see if this sustains. But Harbaugh has a record of doing this, the quick turnarounds, coming in and making an impact right away. So we'll see if they keep it up and they make the playoffs. Right now, they're in playoff slot, um, heading into week 11. The last playoff spot in the AFC is held by the Broncos. They're 5-5. Bo Nix has done better since his first couple weeks. This Broncos defense is pretty good. So he's keeping them in games, even through some of the somewhat rookie struggles that Bo's having. But we'll see if they hang on right on their tail. There's at least two teams that are kind of close to them because they're at 5-5. So Indianapolis is 4-6, and Cincinnati is 4-6. And I think Cincinnati more than Indy can right the ship and get it together, and go on a run where they might win the five and only lose like one more to 9-7 and do that, but more 9-8, whatever. But I can see Cincinnati making the playoffs. You got Dolphins 3-6, and we'll see. The Jets are a mess. Cleveland is done. So, but that's Colts and Cincy are still in it. Colts to me are a little bit of a mess because of the quarterback situation. But I mean, Flacco has been doing okay. So we'll see how that goes. All right, let's go to the NFC. We got the Lions up top of the NFC right now, 8-1. The Eagles 7-2, the Falcons 6-4, and the Arizona Cardinals are 6-4. Those are your division leaders right now at the moment, through 10 weeks. And 5, 6, and 7 is the Vikings at 7-2, the Washington Commanders at 7-3, and the Green Bay Packers at 6-3. Um, all right, so in the NFC, obviously the dominant team has been the Lions That was the team I was referring to when I was talking about the Ravens. The Lions are probably with the Ravens have been tied for, I would say, neck and neck each week for the best team in the league so far through 10 weeks. Um, the record says it, but their stats and everything say it. They just came back from and beat the Texans from a 5 interception game by Jared Goff, so they overcame that. They're going to be a tough team. Obviously, Dan Campbell has them ready. They went on a run, got to the NFC Championship last year, and they're looking to take the next step this year. So we'll see. The competition behind them, um, 7-2 Philly, uh, started 2-2, had a bye, and since the bye, um, they won 5 in a row. They are 2-0 in their division, and some tough matchups for Philly. Obviously, they got the Commanders on Thursday night in a couple of days, to tomorrow, obviously. And that's a division game. Commanders are 7-3. They've been the big surprise of the league. Um, so we'll see how that goes. Then they go to the Rams. Then they have the Ravens. So we'll see how Philly continues with the streak and how they come out of it because there's tough games coming up. But right now they're 7-2 and looking like they're starting to click at the right time. Atlanta 6-4. I think they'll end up winning this division. With Tampa losing the receivers, it's going to be tough for them, even though they're still fighting. Baker has them in the games. This defense has them in the game. So, um, unless Atlanta has like some debacle or some big injuries that we weren't thinking about, Atlanta should win that division. But Tampa's going to keep up even with their shortcomings with the injuries and everything. I think Tampa's 4-6 right now, but they would have to kind of like win and keep pace. So we'll see. But Arizona should win that division. I mean, Atlanta. And I like Atlanta. Like I said in the preview, I think what Atlanta was missing going into the season with a pass rusher, and they got that with Judon. I think that's changed them. Kirk is a stable person to have back there, and he can run this offense, obviously, as we've seen. But right now they're 6-4, and the next division opponent is Tampa Bay at 4-6. So right now they're comfortable at the moment. The Minnesota Vikings 7-2. They've had a really good, season so far. Their only hurdle right now for the division is the Lions, and they're 8-1. The Lions already beat them once, so they'll play again. So we'll see how that pans out. So I think it's interesting. We'll see how long they can ride Sam Darnold. I'm not saying Sam Darnold is bad. I just think he's gotten in the right situation, but he's had a couple rough weeks, but they've come out with wins, so that's what matters. So, but yeah, I did skip over. Sorry, I kind of missed it. The Arizona Cardinals right now 6-4, and they're leading the division. Cardinals look good. They've looked good. They look like they get better every week, and that's what you want to do. They got the San Francisco 49ers chasing them, who are 5-4 and are getting healthy, and you can never count them out, because they've been the constant the last couple of years in the NFC. So can never count them out. They're 5-4. Christian McCaffrey just came back. They're getting some players healthy. Depot just came back. So, 49ers are getting healthy at the right time. So Arizona's got to be conscious of that. They do right now. They did beat the 49ers already, so they have that over them right now, at the current moment. And they did beat the Rams. They're 2-0 in the division. Next division game for them is the Seahawks. This was in Seahawks. Well, they have a bye, but in 2 weeks, and then they play the Seahawks again like 2 weeks after that. So, the 49ers, as far as that race goes, they are they have a rough schedule. At the Seahawks this weekend, the Packers the week after that, the Bills after that, and then as the season goes, Dolphins division game against the Rams, the Lions. So we'll see how that pans out, but they're getting healthy at the right time. All right, the Commanders. What a season they've had. Jaden Daniels looks really good. He looks comfortable. It looks like he's running a system that he's really comfortable in, and that's good by the coaches, Cliff Kingsbury, Brian Johnson, that offensive staff to get him comfortable in something that he's running. I think a lot of what fails a lot of these rookie quarterbacks is that getting into a situation that they don't fit in, and coaches trying to turn quarterbacks into what they think instead of letting them putting them in a position to win like they say they do. I think that's what's happening with Jaden. I'm gonna be honest. The big difference between the two draft picks right now, Chicago looks horrible. Obviously, they haven't scored in 25 offensive possessions, 25 straight. So that's really bad. But the big difference for Caleb and Jalen is that going into the season, I thought that both of these lines were gonna struggle, and the only line that has been able to put it together and not put their rookie quarterback in a tough spot has been the Washington Redskins line. They've outplayed the expectation of that line. Jaden's only gotten sacked 2 times. I know he's mobile. His mobile ability is probably playing into that. So yes, that is that is the big difference between the two. Obviously, I think coaching as well is another thing why Jaden is doing better than Caleb. Obviously, yesterday the Bears fired the offensive coordinator. Honestly, the Bears should have just fired that staff to begin with and gone with a new staff going into the draft, going into the thing. But they decided to stick with it. They got Caleb weapons, and yes, Caleb does have an advantage in weapons compared to Jaden. Jaden only has McLaurin and Zach Ertz. Be honest, and uh, one's doing better because I think Jaden. I'm not saying Jaden's bad. I think Jaden and Caleb will be good. But I think as a rookie right now, the differences between the two is one is being put in a better position to win in a more comfortable spot, and one's line is playing above what some of us thought about them. So, but I do think that Jaden is good. I'm not going to crown him or compare him to anyone because I'm not quick to crown people. But right now, as a rookie, he's having a great season. Kind of reminds me of CJ Stroud. But the league is going to catch up, as you've seen. I'm not saying CJ Stroud's doing bad this year, but he looks more normal this year than as he did, blowing our minds away last year as a rookie because the leagues do catch up. Um, whether or not it's towards the end of the first season or the next season, but they'll eventually catch up. But next year will be the test. But I think they're both going to be good. I wouldn't give up on Caleb. They just need new mindset there for him and the whole organization, honestly. But that's where uh, I think they're both going to be good. So don't give up on either on Caleb. Jaden is on a good time, but Jaden is going to face some people coming up. Obviously, lost to the Buccaneers, and the Buccaneers were healthy and really good team. Lost to the Ravens, just lost to the Steelers. Coming up, they got the Eagles on Thursday, big matchup. And they got the Cowboys. Cowboys are trash. And then like later in the season, they got the Eagles and the Falcons. So if you really look at it, they only got three contending teams that they play the rest of the way that are like that look good or in contention for a playoff spot, which is the Falcons and the Eagles. Eagles twice, the Falcons once. So um, honestly, I think Washington and the Eagles are going to split uh, their division matchups, and we'll see how they match up against the Falcons. Anyway, let's finish it up with the Green Bay Packers. They are, Jordan's back. It looks like he's getting a little healthier um, after, being out for a couple weeks after week one. They did have a bye, so they're going to be refreshed going into the Bears game. Then they got the 49ers, Dolphins, and Lions. So a tough stretch here, but I think Green Bay is going to be fine. Uh, so as long as Jordan stays healthy, and keeps getting healthier, then what he coming back from his injury, I think they'll be fine. And then right on their tails, like I said, San Fran's getting healthy at the right time. We already kind of went into that when I was talking about Arizona, but that's how the league looks. We'll see, guys. Man, there's in a couple weeks, like I said, you have in the NFC, you got Chicago 4-5, Los Angeles 4-5, and Seattle 4-5, and Tampa 4-6. You could see a couple string of wins and these guys be back in it because of the nature of like the 7 seeds in each conference. So we'll see, guys. It's gonna be eventful, and I'm looking forward to it. So I'll be back, um, possibly tomorrow. Make my picks, if not for sure Friday. Make my picks for the week, and we'll talk then. Thank you for tuning in to Competition Timeout. Peace.